Hi guys, Norman Joe again, and today we'll be having a look at this Onkyo TX-SR605 amplifier. And what this thing is doing is absolutely nothing. You press the power button, the standby light goes off and then comes back on. So we've got to figure out what's going on with it. Now, in these hi-fis, spin it around, you can see the mains power coming in there on the black lead, and there's that little transformer there. There's a little power supply circuit that's on all the time, and then it will send a signal to turn on the big transformer when you press the power button. So we can see this black wire here. This is going to the main board. Now this is supplying 12 volts from that little power supply over here and around to the CPU. I'm pointing where you can't see, of course, over there. And then when you press the power button, a signal will be sent back to tell that relay to activate to turn on the main transformer. So we need to figure out why that's not turning on. So first of all, we need to measure the voltage at this blue and white connector here. That's the mains power going to the big transformer, just to see if that is getting any power. And if not, then we need to work out why. Now we're not hearing the relay click when the power button's pressed, so we're assuming there's no power getting to that, and so there will be a problem with the power on signal coming up to this black lead. So let's have a look at it. Okay, so this is a bit of arch-part setup, but you can see the fluke meter there plugged into the thing there. Now obviously you have to be very careful playing around with this, because this is all at 240 volts live mains, so make sure it's unplugged when you're sticking your probes in and stuff. So we just see now, press the power button and there's no power getting to that main transformer. So now we need to work out why. Here is the schematic of the power supply board. Here is the power transformer, the big one, and so we look back to where it's powered, and here is the little relay, and the relay is powered from 12 volts and power D. So if we follow this back up to the connector, which is power D there. So and the black dot means it's grounded, so when power D is grounded, that gives 12 volts and ground to the relay and switches the relay on. So now we need to check the voltage at power D to see if we got any power. So what we'll do first is we'll check 12 volts and ground to check if we've got 12 volts, and then we'll check between 12 volts and power D, and when we press the power switch we should get 12 volts on the meter, because that should ground power D. So let's have a look. Okay, so we've got the meter set up here. Now it should be said that the secondary of this transformer is at 125 volts at 5 amps, and that can give you a nasty sting, believe me. So you want to be very, very careful playing around with that. We are okay at the minute because that's not activating, so that's okay, but we do have to be a bit careful. So where we need to probe now is on the 12 volts, which is the second pin here. Not easy with these big probes. I have ordered some smaller probes, so we should be getting 12 volts there. Well, 13.5, that's fine. So now need to be probing the power D pin, which is there, and we should get 12 volts when the power is pressed, and as you can see we're getting nothing. Okay, so we know now that the fault is not on this power board, the fault is somewhere back on this main board. So now we have to track back further and see what's going on. Now what it will be, there will be the processor board over here will send out a signal which will probably activate a transistor somewhere to give that the power. So let me go and check the schematic, and I'll insert it in the edit if I can think about it, and then we'll see what needs to be done. Okay guys, so there's a big connection block that comes up here. There's a connection called A power, which comes from the CPU board. There is a resistor, and it comes directly from the CPU through a resistor, and then it comes up here to A power. Okay, so we're probing from A power to ground, and if I press the power switch we should see a voltage. Yes, you see that then? Spiked up to 4.2. See it again? Yep. So when we're pressing the power switch we are getting a voltage at A power. So the CPU is telling it to turn on. So now we need to locate the transistor, which if I look should be, where's my bit of paper? 9002. So now we have to find transistor, which is Q9002. 6. 9001, 9002, what a bugger. Let me just show you this a minute. Okay, so right down in there, that is Q9002. And so one leg of that comes from the A power, one leg of it goes to ground, and the other leg goes to the power D over there. So we have to now check that. Right, well there was no easy way to actually film me getting to that transistor, so I'm just going to have to do it, and you're just going to have to trust me that I'm telling you what I'm doing is correct. So we're going to base of that transistor, and so we should be getting the A power signal of about 5 volts or 4 point whatever it said before on this pin. Can I get it? Golly. Yep, you see there we're getting the 4.4 volts. So that's good. So now we need to check continuity at the collector of the transistor. Remember how to use the meter. Beep. So I go from the ground over here to ground there, down here. Yep, that's fine. And so we should have continuity to ground on the emitter pin. Oops, bloody hell. So let's check the the emitter pin. No. Oh, bloody hell. Right, so we should get a blip of continuity when this power switch is pressed, although I'm suspecting it won't, because this emitter pin goes directly to power D, so it's probably this transistor is blown. So let's see if we get a blip of continuity when the power switch is pressed. Yes, we do. Okay, so that's odd. So we should now check for continuity between the emitter pin and the power D pin. And we're getting nothing. How about that? And there is nothing in between that emitter pin and that power D pin, so there must be a fault in the track somewhere between there and there. So what I'll have to do now is temporarily solder a wire in there and see if it works. Alright, if we can see that, this here is the wire I've now soldered onto that emitter pin of that transistor. So now what I've got to do is solder it on over here. But I thought before we actually solder that on, it may be that this track is burnt out, because there might be a problem with the relay. So if we unplug this wire, which doesn't want to come out now. Hang on. Yeah, it's coming. Unplug this wire. And what I'll do is I'll just use my little voltage reference to connect to a couple of these pins and just see if we can hear the relay clicking, just to confirm there's nothing wrong with the relay. So let me stick you back in the tripod and I'll just do that. Alright, so here's my little voltage reference. Now, the good thing about this is it puts out, well, it only puts out 10 volts, and we really need 12 to activate this relay, but it puts out a very, very low current. And so if there is any problem with the relay or the relay circuit on this main board, then it won't click, but we're hoping we hear a relay click. So let's see, second pin and the last pin, and let's see if we can hear a relay click. Whoops. Yep, well we are, but it's not. Click, 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 click. Yep. I can certainly hear that, so that's good. So all we need to do now is solder this black wire, oh hell, I thought it wasn't quite long enough then, onto the power D. There's a power D test point there, TP401. So if we solder direct to that, that will save us having to interfere with this connector. So let me solder this wire to the test point 401 and plug this back in, of course, and then see if the thing works. And if it does, that'll be one of the most simple fixes I've ever done on a stereo. Okay, so that's the wire there, looking a bit messy because I haven't cleaned the flux off or anything yet. But that's got that wire now connected from the power D point there, going all the way over and down to this transistor here. And so now we shall plug in this wire again. Come here, little wire. Okay. Get this in. Come on. Whoa, it's hard to do this looking through the camera lens. Wait a minute. Okay guys, so there's everything all back in there. I've still got the HDMI board and the tuner board out, but this thing in theory now should power up, so let's find out if it does. Well, of course it doesn't, because it isn't plugged in. Aha, twat. Hang on. Alrighty, now it's plugged in, and now we've got the orange, or red rather, standby light. So let's see if it comes on now. Yes, it does. Look at that. CD36. Okay, let's turn the volume down to 0 because there's nothing plugged into it. Tuner, tape. Well, there we are, guys. That's one of the simplest fixes I've ever done on a stereo.